Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. 1 second, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry about that. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining. I welcome all of you to His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily call. Today Maharaj is not available, so we have now Her Grace Radha Vinodini Mataji to enlighten us on the topic of joyful reading, which is the Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 5th chapter and 26th verse. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for giving your time and association to all of us, and I just want to hand over the call to you. Mataji, you want? Can you share the screen, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, I can share.
Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. It's all yours.
Thank you. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. Our glories to Srila Prabhupada. Our glories to all of you. So, we are reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam. I just share my screen and. Yeah, I suppose I have it. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sorry, I didn't practice with any melody. Anyway, I just read it now. The Sanskrit verse. Tatran Vaham Krishna Kata Pragayatam Anugrahena Srinavam Manohara Ta Shradayami Nupadam Vishrinvata Priyashranavasi Anga Mama Bavadruchi. Srila Prabhupada's translation. O Vyasadeva, in that association and by the mercy of those great Vedantis, I could hear them describe the attractive activities of Lord Krishna. And thus, listening attentively, my taste for hearing the personality of Godhead increased at every step. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Lord Shri Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is attractive not only in his personal features, but also in his transcendental activities. It is so because the Absolute is absolute by his name, fame, form, pastimes, and entourage, paraphernalia, etc. The Lord descends to this material world out of his causeless mercy and displays his various transcendental pastimes as a human being, so that human beings attracted towards him become able to go back to Godhead. Men are naturally apt to hear histories and narrations of various personalities performing mundane activities without knowing that by such association one simply wastes valuable time and also becomes addicted to the three qualities of mundane nature. Instead of wasting time, one can get spiritual success by turning his attention to the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. By hearing the narration of the pastimes of the Lord, one contacts directly the personality of Godhead, and, as explained before, by hearing about the personality of Godhead from within, all accumulated sins of the mundane creature are cleaned. Thus, being cleared of all sins, the hearer gradually becomes liberated from mundane association and becomes attracted to the features of the Lord. Narada Muni has just explained this by his personal experience. The whole idea is that simply by hearing about the Lord's pastimes, one can become one of the associates of the Lord. Narada Muni has eternal life, unlimited knowledge, and unfathomed bliss, and he can travel all over the material and spiritual worlds without restriction. One can attain to the highest perfection of life simply by attentive hearing of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord from the right sources, as Sri Narada heard them from the pure devotees, Bhaktivedantas, in his previous life. This process of hearing in the association of the devotees is especially recommended in this age of Vara Kali. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Adeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadatara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is a very interesting verse, which connects to something which happened to me in the last few months. So once I was in our temple here in Budapest temple, and I gave class, and one devotee asked me something very interesting. And the interesting part was that it was such a simple, such a practical question. And I had this feeling that many times we speak about the ideas, the theory, the philosophy of the glories of these books, but in practice we have struggles. And the question was that after years of reading, how can we maintain the taste for reading? How can we make it fresh so that we experience joy when we read? And I was starting to think about this, and I just realized that, yeah, actually, when I look around, when first I look into myself, and also speak to devotees, actually, many of have these struggles, and that was which really, really inspired me in this question. And the fact is, as I experience it, that when it's about duties, what we have to do, we consider so many things more important than reading. We have our material duties, we have our vows to chant the 16 rounds, and consider all of these more important, but reading somehow comes in last. And when it's about, the things we do in our free time as, as a recharge, then we consider all the other things more enjoyable, actually, than reading, and want to do them more. So somehow all the time reading suffers this. And it's actually really such a great problem, because lately I heard something interesting from Chaitanya Charan Prabhu has a Bhakti Shastri course. You can watch it online. And in one of his Gita classes, he spoke about that there are exceptions, but generally, whatever we see connects us to and bonds us to the material nature, and by hearing we can get freed from it. And what he meant, obviously, we can see the deities, and we can see spiritual pictures, and so many other things. So there are exceptions, but he explained that what he meant was that whatever see is what we believe. and we believe it, we consider them enjoyable, and we consider them attainable, that we can achieve those things which are desirable for us. But when it's about hearing, we consider them, yeah, those things are so far away, and many times we consider those things irrelevant to us. So somehow seeing is more prominent, but actually hearing has great powers, and I experienced it in my personal life, that one of my relatives has some problems with Jewish people. And actually, you know, many times I've heard his ideas, and I totally didn't agree with them. Still, you know, the situation was that I couldn't leave, so I had to listen to them. And after some time, I just realized that there is no reason behind it, but somehow I have some bad feelings when this topic comes up. And I just realized that even though I didn't agree with him, somehow, because I repeatedly heard this topic, somehow it had an effect on me. And luckily, this also happens when we hear about spiritual topics. So even if we don't experience with our eyes directly, but if we repeatedly hear about them, then these things can be reality for us. So actually there is great power in hearing, both when it's about these transcendental topics, and also when it's about mantras, especially the Hare Krishna mantra. So we really would need to put effort into reading, but somehow we should get some motivation, you know, to really do it, not just speak about it or desire it, but to really have it as practice. And many times, you know, I feel lucky in this regard, because I'm this philosophical, scholarly type of person. So I really should, whenever I start reading, I remember that, oh yeah, this is really enjoyable. So it somehow seems to be easier. Also, I also have difficulties in this regard. But there are devotees who feel that, oh yeah, but I'm not that scholarly type of person, so what should I do? And when we had this disciples meeting last time in UK, Bhutta Bhavana Prabhu said something really interesting, quoting his spiritual master Bhakti Tirtha Swami, that once he said that everybody needs reading and hearing. It's just there are those type of people who needs more, because their nature is that they need it more. So when Srila Prabhupada had these expectations that devotees read at least 1 hour a day, when he spoke about that we can have taste for hearing, for reading, it wasn't something which was about a group of devotees. He referred to all of the devotees, because actually it's also stated in Bhagavad Gita. There is this verse that this knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. So it's about devotional service, but hearing is, and also this knowledge, and hearing is also part of one kind of devotional service. So it's also true that it can be joyful for everyone. So all of us have to have some endeavor for hearing. And Okay, so let's move forward about something which I was thinking in this regard. So when we are reading, we heard that actually this is a type of connection with Krishna. So it's a very personal thing, because Krishna is non-different from the topics about him. When we read these books, this transcendental knowledge is non-different from Krishna, and these scriptures are also non-different from Krishna, because, for example, we are many times hear this, that Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Krishna, and Bhagavad Gita is the words of Krishna. So we are directly connected with him. This is sort of a kind of a relationship with him. And when we speak about relationships, one how to say, symptom, the nature of relationships, that they are two-sided. So it's not some kind of impersonal process that I read the words, whatever is written there, and that's it. But we are developing a relationship, and we are actually in a relationship. We are sort of like speaking with Krishna at that time. And it's we can see that when we put effort into reading, then actually we are doing something for Krishna. We are making effort for him. We are making effort to be connected to him. And after that, he also reciprocates. So he also gives the knowledge. Yeah, that's one thing. Gives realizations, gives situations when we can practice those things which we have heard of. He can give taste. He can he purifies us. So these are all things which show how he reciprocates. So we also put effort into that relationship with him, and he also puts effort into that relationship. So it's two-sided. There is reciprocation. It's a relationship, really. So also when we speak about relationships, there are two things. There is the mood, the loving mood. So we have to feel some kind of something, but also there has to be some kind of medium, how we express this love. And I would like to discuss this a little bit more in detail. So the first thing was the mood. We have motivation for reading, for wanting to hear about him, about his associates, about what he likes, about how we can get closer to him, how we can serve him better. So what are those things which ruin it? One thing is the lower modes of nature, because when we speak about reading, the modes of nature are also there. They affect us, both in quantity and in quality. When we speak about quantity, when we are affected by the mode of ignorance, then what happens? We just don't read, don't put the effort. We are lazy. Oh, okay, I will do it tomorrow. Oh, today also I didn't succeed. Okay, then I will do tomorrow. So we just postpone it till eternity. When we are affected by the mode of passion, then okay, I start reading. Now today I read 1 hour or 2 hours, and I can do it for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, or sometime. And after that, I cannot keep it up, and I just finish it again. And for months I don't read, and then okay, I will start again, and this time I will do it better. But again, a few days, and I just stop totally. What happens in the mode of goodness? then we can maintain whatever we started. Maybe it's just 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day, but we do it each and every day without fail. So obviously, then we can build it up. So maybe today is 5 minutes. In a few months, it will be 10 minutes, then 20 minutes, and gradually it will be more and more, because there will be a real connection with Krishna. He also reciprocates with these efforts. When it's about quality, also the different modes of nature can have, actually they have effect on us. So when we don't really pay attention, you know, when, I'm sure many of us know this feeling, then when our eyes just go through the lines, and after half a page we just realize, oh, what I have read just now, what was the last thing I remember what I read. So when this happens, we are affected by the modes of nature. I mean the mode of ignorance. And when we are affected by the mode of passion, then what happens is that I read, I even pay attention, but I pay attention in a way that, okay, I have to do this amount of pages today, or how can I benefit of what I read? How can I use it? Maybe I will have to give some presentation, and oh, this will be this thing I can use for that thing I can use for that. So I just have to want to have some kind of profit from reading. I desire the results. And when we are in the mode of goodness, then we can understand, we can pay attention that what is the real message there. I can do it out of duty, out of love, and it really can be a relationship with Krishna. So examples for these difficulties that, you know, when we just don't read, we all the time postpone, when the mind is not really there, when I'm not really attentive, when I just think about, oh yeah, here it's written how that other devotees should have behaved with me. So these can be problems, and these are how we shouldn't read. These are examples on how we shouldn't read. And sorry, I just speak a little bit on my notes. And many times we can fear that we can have this feeling that it's a bit difficult to understand what is written there, because we in Western education, the approach is totally different. So I remember when I first started to read the scriptures, I had some problems with it. So I thought it's not really easy to follow, not really logical, because you know, some certain the information is not collected to some certain chapters, but they are throughout the scriptures. So, for example, in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are different cantos where we can read about creation. So not one part where it's discussed in total details, but there are different parts about this. Also, it's not, it doesn't really follow a certain timeline. So they are not in order, whatever happens. And these cause that sometimes we fear that it's difficult to understand these things. But actually, this is very scholarly, actually more scholarly than the Western approach, because this whole thing is built up in a way that after we understood something, we can move to the next step. It's a little bit like, I don't know how education is in other countries, but in Hungary, from in elementary school from grade 5th grade to 8th grade, they study history, everything. And then when they go to high school, they start everything again. And from grade 1st grade to 4th grade, they again study history. The whole thing is just in more details. And actually, something similar happens when we study these Vedic scriptures, that we can get different point of views, different depths in different parts of the scriptures. And one story, pastime, or philosophical discussion prepares our consciousness, our intelligence for the next step. So they are very scholarly, but yeah, they are very scholarly. And one other thing which can be a problem in our approach is that many times, actually, I had this problem previously, that I felt that, oh, these things are so simple. Whatever Prabhupada wrote is so simple. Somehow, just I thought that it's not enough for my intelligence. And later on, I realized how wrong I was, because I started to read from other commentaries of the acharyas, and realized how scholarly these acharyas are. And actually, whatever Prabhupada did was that he collected all these commentaries and wrote them down in a simplified way. So it's very very scholarly when someone can speak high philosophy, but it's also a great thing when someone can express difficult things in a simple way. So it can be attainable, it can be understandable for even the more simple people. So this was Prabhupada's goal, to distribute this knowledge to everyone, even to the more simple people. And the other aspect is that many times we think that, oh, I'm ready for the higher knowledge, for the more intimate pastimes, but actually we didn't even understand the more simple things, like I'm not this body. Sometimes I thought that, oh yeah, I heard this so many times, I totally understand, yeah, I'm not this body, but actually there is a difference between Gyan and Vigyan. And I just realized after some time that I don't really act like someone who understood that she's or he's not this body. So I really started to appreciate these simple things, and also understood how much I need them. And when it's about mood and motivation, we also should understand that in some sense, actually, we are not, we like to think that, yeah, I'm the center of the universe. And that's totally not true, because Krishna is the center of the universe. But in some sense, we can understand that we are in an important position in our own life. We can consider ourselves the center of our own life. Obviously, Krishna is the center, but what I mean is that whatever happens to me is Krishna's arrangement for me. So when I study whatever is there in the scriptures, then Krishna sends situations when I can practice these things. So whatever happens to me is something which I can learn from. I again would like to quote, I really liked one expression from Bhuta Bhavana Prabhu, when he said that this whole life, our whole life is pregnant with meaning. And I really like this expression, pregnant, because pregnant means that, yeah, this is hidden at this point, but something valuable will come out of it. So So Krishna reciprocates with us very personally, very intimately, confidentially in our life, that we can practice whatever we had read. And when it's about our mood, we also should mention the role of prayer. I just found yesterday one of one thing which I sorry, I have to find it again. There is one very nice prayer from Sanatana Goswami. Okay, I don't know where I put it.
Do you want me to search up, Mataji?
Sorry, I didn't.
Do you want me to search up for the prayer of Sanatana Goswami?
If you can find it easily,
Sure.
then it would be great help. It was from Sanatana Goswami. I will just Krishna Lilastava.
Oh, okay.
There are five verses about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sorry, my computer just decided to.
So is it Krishna Lilastava, Mataji? Because prayers to Srimad Bhagavatam by Srila Sanatana Goswami.
So it's Krishna Lilastava. That's the name. I searched it in a different browser, and I.
1 second. You stop sharing. I'll share my screen.
Okay.
So is it the one, Mataji? Sarva. From Krishna Lilastava by Srila Sanatana Goswami.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Thank you so much. Yeah. So when we approach the scriptures, especially this is about Srimad Bhagavatam, it's very nice to set the mood with some prayers, and this is a beautiful prayer about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I just would like to read because it's so nice. Can you go a little bit up?
I think this website, I think we have to pay for this to open
Oh,
it.
yeah, okay.
I'll find another one. I'll stop 1 second.
I also try to search.
I think it's there in ISKCON Desiratory. 1 second, I'm opening. Yeah, 1 second. Yes, Mother.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So
this is it, I think. Yeah, these are the small. Yeah.
Okay, I think I will just read the translation because I don't know which one is S and H, and so I don't want to read something else. But anyway, so O Srimad Bhagavatam, O nectar churned from the ocean of all the Vedic scriptures, you are the most prominent transcendental fruit of the Vedas and are enriched with the jewels of all philosophical conclusions. You grant spiritual vision to all people of the world and are the very life breath of the Vaishnava devotees. O Lord, you are the sun which has risen to dispel the darkness of Kali Yuga. Actually, you are Lord Krishna, who has returned among us. O Srimad Bhagavatam, I offer respectful obeisances unto you. By your recitation, one attains transcendental bliss because your syllables shower down pure love of God. You are to be served by everyone, always, for you are an incarnation of Lord Krishna. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O my only friend, companion and teacher, O my great wealth and deliverer, O my good fortune and bliss, I offer respectful obeisances unto you. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O uplifter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Accompanied by pure love of Krishna, please manifest yourself in the heart and throat. So this is a beautiful prayer which can set up the mood for our readings, and actually it helps us to get into the mood. And I also spoke about the technical parts, because as I mentioned, that when it's about a relationship, we have to have the mood, the loving mood, these feelings, but also we have to express it in some way. So when I speak to devotees, many of us express that, yeah, I would like to read more and hear classes more, but I just somehow don't have the time. And this is like when we have loving mood, we have the desires, but on the other hand, there is no medium for expressing the desires. And just imagine that you have a relationship with someone who always says that, oh, I love you, but never does anything for you. So would you really believe that he or she loves you? So that's what we do to Krishna when it's about reading, that we say that, oh, I want to be with you, but in the end, I'm not with you, and I don't make endeavors to be with you. So we have to make some kind of effort, and I would like to to mention a few of these things, what we can do practically. So one thing is that we have to prepare the circumstances for reading. Reading can be a ritual, and not in a bad way, that sometimes we say that all these rituals are not so good because the heart is not into it. But what I mean that ritual in a way that it's kind of like a celebration, that it becomes special, to prepare the nice circumstances, to prepare the time. For example, when it's nice if someone already has 10 minutes for Krishna for reading daily, but when someone can give an hour to him, it gives more possibility to go deep, to forget whatever you need to do in the other parts of the day. So if there is time and attention dedicated to reading, then it shows Krishna that we really want this. So we just tune our minds. We give the time. We prepare peaceful circumstances. We can offer prayers like the one we read before, but even with our own words, it's nice. And there is like in Gita Jayanti, we used to offer an incense to the Bhagavad Gita, so we can even worship these scriptures. So these things nicely prepare the mood and help us to approach these scriptures in a respectful way. Also, Guru Maharaj used to say that when it's about chanting, quantity helps quality, and then it will help again quantity. And something similar happens here, because if we give our time to the scriptures, then it will help us to go deep. It will help us to have some taste, to have some realizations. And when there is taste, obviously quantity will again come. So quantity is connected with quality in this way, and we can try to make some effort in this regard too. Also, it can help that we try not just to read, but to study. Even Srila Prabhupada mentioned it, that we should study these scriptures and what it means. I will again share something. This is from H.H Swami, and I hope it's okay. So this is from H.H Swami on how we can study Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, Guru Maharaj also gave some idea when a few years ago we had a study for the scriptures, whatever verses he selected on the conference, and he gave this way of study, that read the verse and purport over 3 times over, then explain the meanings initially come to mind. Give some explanation on some of the key words in the verse, along with explaining these words in relation to other words in the text. Cite other verses that support this verse along with your personal realizations and real-life experiences that may reflect the meaning of the verse. Of course, each verse in Srimad Bhagavatam has many different meanings. So basically, we start with hearing again and again and again, literally, because he mentioned 3 times. So we just, at first, we just absorb whatever is written without any interpretation. Then we focus on the words and the relation of the words. Then we focus on the verse and relation with other verses. And then we focus on how to connect with our own life. And this is a very nice way how we can make it practical. What H.H Swami gives is a different approach. Actually, this is how we can make notes. And he says to get a notebook and at least weekly once to write an entry into this notebook. It can be digital or really a notebook, whatever we prefer. And in the end of the year, we will have at least 52 entries. So what he says that what to write, because many times we think, okay, but what should write when after reading? And he says that there are many bells which can ring while we are reading, which means what can have some relevance to us. One is this connection bell. And this is about how this verse is connected to another verse, or some part with another part, what I read before. This is something which also Guru Maharaj wrote, which I just read. So this is how to understand things in context. Also about this is the general picture bell, that this verse or this part of the verse or part of the purport, it's interesting for me, or it's thought-provoking for me, or it has an important part in the general picture, how I can connect this, whatever ideas I had before. How can I understand it in a more general way? What are the details? What are the principles? Like that. So the third one is the own memory bell. So whatever I read is, this reminds me of something, like meeting with someone, or whatever thing happened to me, or whatever desires are had, or something with somehow it's connected with my own life. This is also in another aspect whatever is Guru Maharaj was he wrote. So this point actually helps us how to make Vigyan out of Gyan. So this point D, this the big effect bell, that oh yeah, I didn't understand something till now, but this point, this really explains that other thing, or I can relate to this very much because this and this, or this inspires me to change in something, or this give me ideas on how to do something, how to explain something. This point actually reminds me of something which Guru Maharaj answered to one of my questions previously. Actually, the main point here is that he said that whatever evokes deep emotions in us, we will remember those things more. Because I asked him actually that many times when I have some kind of challenge, I'm so emotional at that time that I'm not able to react based on scriptures. So it's difficult for me to connect philosophy when I'm emotional. And part of his answer was that emotions are good because they will help us remember things. So if we can evoke some kind of deep emotions while reading, we will remember those things more. Probably you also experience that you are in a class and you heard something many times over and over again, but this devotee who gives the class phrases this thing in such a way that somehow it really touches your heart, and you will remember it later, even years later, whatever you heard in that class. So another point is bell inspiring to write. So this thought, whatever I read, it inspires for me. It's inspiring for me to write a blog post, a poem, a letter, an essay, or something. Or the challenge bell. It's also it's one of my favorites. When I feel that this thing, whatever I read, is somehow it agitates me or disturbs me or confuses me, causes doubts, because these things are not bad. These things help us grow further. So whenever we have these kind of things, we know that, okay, I have to make some endeavor to qualify, to understand these things better, to clarify. And so there is the action inspiring bell. This thing, whatever I read, this inspires me to do something, to work on something, to make an own commentary, or to stop doing something. Or the research bell. When something which I read, I would like to research more about this idea, this word, this practice. For example, this word, maybe we not so many times feel that, oh, I want to do some kind of research on this word. But I remember that once I just started to look up the different Sanskrit words on humility. And it was really interesting research, actually, because many times there was different context behind the certain words. So I think this is a very nice idea to write something, because when we start to write, it also helps us to remember Krishna. And actually, part of the point of reading is to be able to remember, because then we will be able to be Krishna conscious. When we can start seeing him in whatever is around us, whatever happens. So writing can also help us in this. Once I remember I had this idea, oh, it would be so nice to write at least weekly one thing, whatever reminded me in whatever happened to me or whatever I saw, how this thing made me remember Krishna. And this could be a very artistic type of journal. So this is one technique also. Also another, there are actually two type of techniques which we can use in reading. Those types which we can use when we are alone, and those types of techniques which we can use with others. So when we are alone, then we can actively listen. We can phrase questions. What are our doubts? Or we can rephrase whatever we just read. Also, for me, it was very interesting that previously I read the scriptures in Hungarian language because that's my language. It was easier. But then I started to read in English, and it became a totally new experience because it was somehow a little bit different. I remember once, I think with Manjuali, we had a discussion about this, that she mentioned that she was there in a discussion or class, I don't know what it was, when devotees compared the English, the Slovenian and the Croatian version of one scripture, maybe the Bhagavad Gita, and how the mood was a bit different. So if you would like to experience something new, you can start to read in another language. Obviously something which you understand. And also it's nice to take notes. Also nice to check out the word by word translation, because many times Prabhupada emphasizes some certain words in the verse, and those can help us dig deeper into the meaning of the word. So these are techniques about what we can do by ourselves. Also, we can compare certain commentaries on one verse. So now what I do is, like, first I read in English the Bhagavad Gita from Srila Prabhupada. Then I read Baladev Vidyabhushan's commentaries on the verse. Then I read Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentaries. Then I read from Burijan Prabhu's book on that verse. And then I hear Chaitanya Charan Prabhu's class about the verse. And it really, really helps me to go very deep into that certain verse, and amazing, really an amazing experience. So also we can think about how we can apply these things, which we read. Also try to make endeavor how we can see these things around ourselves. So another thing is whatever we can do together to go deeper into the scriptures. And because many times, for example, when I give class and someone asks something, I just realize that, oh yeah, really, I didn't think about that. So other devotees can give other directions to our thoughts, to our understanding. That's also really nice. It's also really nice when we read together, and it also, many times we like to make friendships with those devotees who are similar to us in some way. But reading is something which can connect us with those who are different from us. And actually it can be even more interesting to read together with those devotees who are different from us, because then their thought will be really, really different. And that will be really interesting. So it's nice to think about how we can read together, how we can discuss together. And the last point, and because we are really out of time, I would like to just shortly mention that one thing which also helps us our reading is to give this knowledge to others. but what I mean is one thing is preaching. So speak about this to non-devotees, and also speak about this to the devotees, because whenever we also need to speak about this, we can be inspired to find new ways how we can present these things. Actually, it's very important when we are speaking about philosophy to devotees, because devotees already heard many times the same stories, the same metaphors. So how can we present the same things in a new way? And actually, it can also give some kind of remembering, some kind of meditation on these things, and help us feel our daily lives, even during, I don't know, cleaning or something like that, with Krishna consciousness, because our mind can be absorbed in these thoughts. So I finished it. Sorry for being so long again, but please, if you have any realizations, any questions, just share it with us.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Sorry. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. Yeah, even though it is very long class, but that's fine. We got to know many points, and especially your secrets, how to prepare for a class. So yeah, wonderful class, Mataji. And I guess many have a lot of questions. Even I was surprised to know that I never thought that reading will also have 3 modes affected. So how we'll be reading in passion, ignorance, and goodness. So yesterday only I was reading like I'm in passion only. I was just checking how many pages I read. I was just checking how many verses I was reading. So
I know the feeling.
So yes, Mataji, actually not focusing on the content, but focusing on how much quantity you are reading. That is definitely in passion. I can agree. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very nice points. I can't mention each one of them, but yeah, very nice and detailed class, Mataji. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, please go ahead if you have any questions or comments. I'm sure definitely you must have some questions. Please go ahead, Prabhus and Matajis, and please turn on your cameras if possible. Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, no questions? So Mataji, I just want to ask you, like, so when we are reading in a reading groups, so how our mood should be, like, usually sometimes in some reading groups, they just read the purports, they just read and just leave only. They don't discuss. But somewhere, some other places, they discuss, and it will take long time to discuss each and every verse. So, and everyone wants to contribute there, and it will take too much of time. And sometimes it half an hour reading will become 1 hour reading call. So sometimes devotees may not give that much time, so they leave the group. So these type of things happen. So how we should maintain these reading groups, like how we should do this, Mataji? Do you have any tips for us?
Well, I wasn't part of a reading group. Sometime I read together with one of my friends. So our group was of 2 people, 2 devotees. That's a special one, because if one leaves, then end of discussion. But I think both ways of reading can have benefits, because actually when we read together, it can have multiple purposes. So like one of them is to to get these new understandings, new ideas, and that's the discussion part. But even if it's not there, the other thing is, reading together with those, I mean, associating with those who have a taste for reading. That's also really valuable. And also when it's scheduled, then it's at least we can be sure that, okay, I will be there. So that's definitely a benefit. But I think when there are these really, really detailed discussions, it's also really nice because the point is not to discuss many verses, but if we can discuss one verse, but in great detail with many aspects, actually this is really helpful because then we can understand how many different levels these verses have, that how personal it is, how Krishna reciprocates with different devotees, how many approaches there are, and it's really useful. I think it's not a waste of time to give so much time to one point, because many times we just want to have a great quantity of verses discussed, but that's so superficial, This is actually our great problem, that we don't go deep. Even I remember that I read sometimes that we read the Krishna book one occasion, 2 occasions, and yeah, I know these pastimes. But then some elevated senior devotee comes to the temple, narrates the same pastime, which we can read in the Krishna book, and we are sitting there, wow, such depth, and oh, he's really such an elevated devotee. But he probably read the same books which Srila Prabhupada gave. It's just because if someone reads it over and over again, then really Krishna reveals the depths in the heart, and also can hear from other classes. So we can do it, that all these things are there. And oh yeah, now by mentioning this Krishna book, I also wanted to share one short story, that one Mataji who worked in a I think it's a hospital, it's not in the story, but anyway, one couple visited her, a doctor, that they want to abort their child. And this Mataji told them that she's really strict about not doing abortion for anyone, and tried to convince them to keep the child. And after 2 weeks, they came back and told that, okay, we decided we will keep this child. And the Mataji gave them a Krishna book and asked the lady to read it regularly. And the lady accepted and did it. And 5 years later, they came back with a young boy who was, wearing tilak, and they told that he's chanting every day and want to go to Gurukul and visits the temple regularly. And the interesting thing is that the parents are not devotees. The child is devotee, because the child was there. This really reminded me on Prahlad Maharaj, that when the mother hears, the
Yes.
child also hears. And the child heard really attentively these stories, these pastimes touched his heart, and he benefited, even though the mother didn't decide to be the devotee. So Krishna book has this potential also. So it's amazing. So it's worth going really deeply. And if there are devotees who leave, it's their decision. We cannot force anyone. But if the dedicated devotees, the inspired devotees stay, then it's still a nice sangha. So it's worth doing.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, very nice story. Great. Yeah, how Krishna book. Even I feel like even Guru Maharaj says that at night times you have to read Krishna. You can read Krishna book while before sleeping. But I always think, okay, I know Krishna book. I know the pastimes. I'll read another book. I'll think like that. They're definitely, as you said, reading over and over again gives you more insights. Yeah. Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much for your tips. Nice story also. Yeah.
You
Thank
know,
you.
it just it's a funny thing. I remember Guru Maharaj used to say this because I think Prabhupada also said that it's, you know, it's something light to read in the evening. You don't have to not focus, but, you know, not strong concentration like work or the intelligence. But I remember when Guru Maharaj told someone that, okay, if you have difficulties to go to sleep in the evening, read the Sandarbhas. So he also said that. I think it might be a joke, but I don't know. So anyway,
Yeah, yesterday
if you
in Monday's class, I think, in Monday's class, he was saying that if you want to really get sleepy, you can read Brahma Samhita of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Purports. It will make you definitely.
yeah, so I think whatever you read is nice because you're reading. I mean, whatever transcendental.
Yeah.
But the point is that Krishna book is easier to read.
Yes, Mataji, that's true. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Scarlett Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, and thank you for a wonderful, wonderful class. I read Srimad Bhagavatam every day, but today you say something, it makes me worry. It's that when I read Srimad Bhagavatam, if I found something that is answer my question, then I put post-its in it to remind me there was the place that I read that. And today you say Srimad Bhagavatam, you can worship it, you can have it like it is Krishna. Then I wonder, is that right? I do this way?
Wow.
Then I'm going
you
to
know,
get karma for it. Then I'm going to get bad karma because of I'm putting post-it to remind me where I have been reading it.
It's really inspiring that you found so many inspiring thoughts. So please don't worry about that. Actually, you didn't damage the book because you can take off these post-its anytime. So
yes,
I've heard that when
it's not bad post-its, that the post-its will not destroy the book. I can take it away without.
Yeah. So that's don't worry about it. I don't think it would be a problem.
Okay.
So
then I will get bad karma for it.
No, please don't worry about that.
Okay, thank you. Next question I have, you mentioned about class, that you can go to the, there is a class, the Bhagavad Gita class, and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the class that for me it's good to be too, or can I attend in these classes? Is it in English?
You mean this from Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, which I mentioned?
You say there was a class. Yes, you mentioned a class. In that class, it was mentioned something. I think it was Bhagavad Gita. You say class for Bhagavad Gita class. Maybe I heard.
Yeah. Actually, it's not just Bhagavad Gita. This is this covers the whole Bhakti Shastri course. So those scriptures which are in Bhakti Shastri, it contains Bhagavad Gita, nectar of instructions, part of nectar of devotion, and Ishopanishad, Sri Ishopanishad. And so the Prabhu very thoroughly goes through all these scriptures. And this is on YouTube. So I just, now I won't find it, but I will post it on, as I saw you are in WhatsApp group. Okay, and I will post the link there, and you can see there, because it's really just about Bhagavad Gita. I think at least 60 to 80 or even more classes there are. So it's really into the details, and there are so many meanings that's really worth checking out.
Thank you. Please do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji, for reminding us. Scarlett Mataji, after seeing you, even I started putting post-its to my books. Not very much, but a little bit. So that's a good idea to remember the topic where we read and what is the important point there. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, I'm old. I'm also I forget very easily. So this way, I'm not going to forgive. I go directly and read it.
Yes, Mataji, that's true.
And does the colors have any meaning? Because I saw there are many colors.
No. I just when it's finished, red is finished, then I start with the yellow, and
okay.
when it's finished, I take the green. No, I have like this. Look, there's different color. So
Yeah.
when it's finished, I use the other one. Sometimes when there is something that I love very, very much and I want to go back to it, I take the orange one because it's my favorite color. So I take the orange and put it inside.
Yeah. I remember that once I borrowed one book from a senior devotee here in Hungary. It wasn't Srimad Bhagavatam or anything like that. It was a book, this Karna Trial. This was the book, and it was full of post-its also. So even senior devotees do this. Although it's not scripture, but I think it's transcendental. Because topics are transcendental. So I suppose it's no problem. I don't used to do it because, I'm more the technical type of person. So I have my files on my computer, databases and stuff. So it's different, but the purpose and the goal is the same. So I think it's actually
for me, I'm
same.
not so computer savvy. For me, that's why for me books is much better because I can easily reach for it and take it. But because I'm not so computer savvy, so I'm afraid that the computer will go down or something happen, and I don't have.
Of course.
That's why books for me.
Everybody has their own way, so it's there's no problem.
Old lady, old system, Thank you.
Yeah, but it's so nice and inspiring that you put the effort into it.
Mataji, even me too. I use books only. I read from books only. I don't read from database. Thank you. Revati Mataji, please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji, thank you so much for the very wonderful class and so many points you have shared, especially the tips, how to give a class and how to read in a mode of goodness, the mode to set it up. Really like it. So I have, Mataji, want to check, like, if you have more tips, like, when you're reading books, right, you also come up with realizations and everything. But when you try to express, you can't really express your realizations. Maybe it's a communication barrier, or you have any other suggestions, like how you can really express your thoughts. And I like the point which you said, like the philosophy is so deep, but putting it in a very simpler way so that it's easy to understand. So could you please guide or give more tips on that?
I'm not sure I understood your question. So is it how we can express our realizations, or?
Yes, because we read the books and we forget most of the times. And when it comes to expressing whatever we read, we can't express it properly. So what could be you have any guidance on how can we improve the skills of expressing our...
Actually, what was said in this method, which Guru Maharaj shared, that rephrasing the verse or parts of the purport, it helps because it means that we are thinking about the meaning. So rephrasing is one thing, and actually it helps to practice how to put our thoughts into words. That's one thing. And as far as I know, there is a method for discussing scriptures. I don't know who started this, but this is called sadhusanga, I think. And they do it in a way that someone in the group has some question. I don't remember the details, although they told me, but one part of this was that yeah, I think I have it. So I have a question connected to the verse, and at first when I phrase my question, then I try to answer it. Then another devotee tries to repeat what my answer was, but with different words. So the same how he or she understood what I said, and then adds something. And then a third devotee comes and repeats what he or she said, but another words. So this helps actually to understand each other better. That's why it's also says sadhu sangha, because devotees said that this helps to hear more attentively. So part of expressing something is proper hearing, and it also helps to practice expressing things. Also, another thing which came into my mind is to express our realizations is many times through what we experienced. So that's why I really like those things when I have some personal story in my life, which supports some kind of point in the philosophy, because that way it will be more relevant to others because it's a personal story and they can relate to it. And also because it's a story, it's easier to digest. We don't have to focus so much. So personal stories are really, really one of the best ways to explain something to others. That's my experience. I don't know if this answered your question.
Yes, Mataji. So yeah, as you said, like personal stories and also like sadhu sangha, right? Expressing thoughts and all that, rephrasing the same thing and understanding others' realizations. So yeah, it's again practical. It's like a sadhana. We have to practice that, as you said. But you gave a practical tip. Yeah, definitely. I'll try to practice that. Yeah, thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, I think actually these realizations can be so abstract that there needs to be some kind of medium how we can express them. I think I understand what's the point here, because many times when we have some kind of realization, it's like a feeling, and it's difficult to express that. But when it becomes some kind of action, then it's easier to speak about that.
Okay.
Mataji, if you permit me, I just want to share something regarding this. Is it okay?
Please do.
Yeah. So when we are reading in groups, or when we start discussing the verses which we read in that particular time, so when we share the realizations there, then it will become a habit, regular habit when you do that, Mataji, so that we can share more, or we can easily express. You will get better and better if you do it continuously or regularly. So that's what I realized, Mataji. So that's how I improved in expressing. And also what I'm doing is I'm reading with neophyte devotees, like new people who never read Bhagavad Gita. So what happens is I already did my Bhakti Shastri. I already heard some classes, and I already read Bhagavad Gita once and gave exams. So I know, I should not say that I know something, but so this is my second reading. So I'm able to relate with Guru Maharaj classes and my own realizations and what already I heard in the lectures, so that I share with them. whenever I read the verse, they read the verses, or I read the verses. So like that, in the reading groups, when we share our realizations and discuss with the devotees and give the opportunity to them also to speak something on the verses, what they understood. So that will help, Mataji, I think, to express ourselves. And if it is a regular thing, then automatically you'll get good this one sadhana, or a good thing to express yourself, and finally eventually you can end up giving a class also. So that's what I feel. What do you think?
Yes, yes. Reading calls, definitely it helps. Like we had a reading calls, as Mataji was telling, when we were doing Bhakti Shastri also. It's a continuous. If we have, if we don't really in that group, again we can see that we get distracted. Yeah, that's really helpful. Definitely. Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it's really such a nice point. Thank you very much. Whatever we practice, we become better at it. So just to exemplify this, you might not be able to believe it, but when I first had to give class, it was in Hungary at that time. There were very short classes on Fridays, because that was a book distribution marathon day. So I just had to speak 10 minutes. That's not much, really, that's not much, but you cannot believe how afraid I was. I was really afraid. How will I start to speak? Previously, on one festival, I should have announced that, dear devotees, you can purchase prasadam tickets at the reception. And I wasn't able to say that, even that. It was too difficult for me. And you can see that now you just cannot make me finish whatever I say. So definitely, whatever we practice, we become better at it.
And also, we hear from Guru Maharaj daily, right? So new points will come, and we like the classes. Some things we really struck in our mind, and so most of the time I'll be so enthusiastic to share with someone. Yeah, I'll share with my Prabhu or my mother. So some even with my kids. So this new point Guru Maharaj said. So these new things I try to share with others. So, and also while reading also, when the context comes, oh, Guru Maharaj told like this in the class, so that I relate and I'll talk Mataji. So I'll share with the devotees. So that helps me to keep on expressing my realizations or expressing my thoughts, and understand better, Mataji. So.
Yeah, you just made me remember one thing, which is really interesting, because previously when I joined these these daily calls, I just I was sitting and listening. Sometimes I did some mechanical stuff even, and now after I started to do this service with the daily drops of nectar, and many times Guru Maharaj sends the quote, but whenever he doesn't, I have to come up with something with the classes. So I have to listen to these classes with a different approach. I have to find these sutra-like thoughts of them. And at first I was, I was in a little bit of panic that, oh my God, how will I be able to listen to so many classes that I will have enough quotes? And, when I first started to listen to these classes with this approach, I was just so surprised how many of these very short points are there. So from one class, even after starting this kind of listening, I can get 10 to 15 words from one class, which are these short sutra-like thoughts. And I really realized that, oh my God, it's really something like, no different from the scriptures, that even from the scriptures, you can get so many points out of one verse and purport. And Guru Maharaj's classes, just the same. So So it's really, really inspiring. I really become happy after understanding this. Relieved.
Mataji, yeah.
Every class
Yeah.
has, yeah, go ahead,
I think
Mataji.
Revati Mataji writes notes for every class. I think she has all the points, ma'am, stored in her notes.
No, Mataji, I'd never go back and read it, but I got that habit of taking down. So whenever I take down notes, that's when it really enters into my mind. I can see that if I don't take notes, I don't get realizations. I don't get that thing. So, but I never had time to go back and read. But yeah, definitely. And Guru Maharaj, every class he has a lot of beautiful quotes and striking points. I really meditate on.
Yes,
Nice.
Mataji, that's true. Nowadays, even I'm noting it down, but sometimes I forget to note down. But when I see Revati Mataji, I remember that most of the time. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for inspiring us always. So, dear devotees, any more questions or comments? Okay. So, Mataji, with your permission, we can end the call here.
Okay. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much, Mataji. Once again, such a wonderful presentation and thought-provoking, and we can see where we are in the reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you so much, Mataji, once again. Dear devotees, thank you so much for
Very,
participating.
very much for this class.
Sure.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Ki
Srimad
jai.
Bhagavatam ki jai,
Ki jai.
Guru Maharaj ki
There is
jai.
someone
Jai.
who wants to raise
Yes,
hand.
yes, I am seeing. Yeah, Rishabh Prabhu, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Please go.
Yes,
Just
Hare Krishna.
before closing the closing words, I want to share one realization from today's lecture about realizations. I was speaking with a senior devotee here, one with full power, spiritual power, a lot realization. One thing that we have concluded that realization.
Now we cannot hear you.
We lost your voice. Hare Krishna. Rishabh Prabhu?
Anyone?
Yes, yes. Now we can hear you. Can you
Okay,
continue?
sorry. So that realizations doesn't come from studying the scripture. Realization, because the scriptures are alive, realization comes from serving the spiritual master, not from studying them. From studying them, we can remember the points, we can know the shlokas, but realizations exclusively comes from serving and satisfying spiritual master. Then Krishna, because it's head aside, he is revealing himself to us. So just to add this, so that we can do both, study and serve spiritual master.
Okay.
It's just one thing I would like to ask about this, because I just remember that when there was this this first volume of this Prapanam online magazine, I don't know, from Guru Maharaj, there was one article about reading where he quoted, I think it was from Padma Purana, the different how to hear properly. And there it was stated that if we properly hear, the consequence or the result will be either realizations or questions or both. So from there, as I understood, from proper hearing can come realizations. But it might be somehow connected to serving the spiritual master. I don't know. I just would like to ask if you know anything about this.
I think this is a big topic for special class again.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
we can ask. Let's ask Maharaj about it. But it's like it's really important to know these things. Then we have a different goal in our spiritual life. We have this different. The view changes our attitude, and attitude kind of makes all the difference. So yeah, I just wanted to add this to the conversation. Thank you very much.
Now you make me more worried.
Yeah,
Because
even I'm thinking.
I'm here in Sweden. I go with walker. I'm not good in the computer. So I have not done anything for Guru Maharaj. I just listen to his class and continue reading and chanting as he says. But I don't know. I have done nothing for him. So it means that it's not good. I'm just...
Mataji, I think you value your questions enough, because actually your questions are service. Because whenever you ask something, you give the possibility to go into something into more details, or into another direction, another approach in some kind of topic. So your questions are also service.
Okay. I wish.
And we are also following.
I distribute books. I do that today. I have distributed 2 Chaitanya Charitamrita set and 4 other books. I distribute book. I go with Bob Walker and meet them and give them. The only thing I do nothing.
Yes, Mataji, that's the biggest service. Guru Maharaj likes book distribution very much, and he mentioned that is a great service, Mataji. So he's already pleased with you, and you follow his instructions always. So that's also serving Guru Maharaj, right? So,
okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, thank you so much. Rishabh Prabhu, please be prepared for the class. I'll ask you on this topic, serving spiritual master.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
Thank you, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
I'll end the call here. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, Mataji. Radha Vinodini Mataji ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Gaura
Krishna.
Bhaktalinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.